Hey people, Rainollon here. Today's another build showcase and it's Jade. AoE build. So let us immediately start. Let's start with Jade first and the mods. The mods I'm using on my Jade, I'm using Combat Discipline. There's Synergy here, which I'm going to talk about very soon. Aerodynamic and Aviator for airborne damage reduction. We're going to be in the air all the time, so this is going to help us out a ton. Prime Continuity for ability duration to fix our massive negative duration. With this is more than enough. You don't need to have more than 78 duration. Believe me, you don't. Streamline for ability efficiency. Fleeting Expertise for ability efficiency. We capped our ability efficiency. And Fleeting Expertise also lowers our ability duration. Transcend Fortitude also lowers our ability duration, but gives us ability strength. Arc Intensify gives us 30% ability strength, and when you use your first ability, which restores health, you trigger another plus 30% ability strength. But how do you restore health? You need to take damage. Well, you kill enemies, become a discipline, you lose health, press this, you gain health, triggers Arc Intensify, which is a really nice synergy, and you're going to have this all the time. Arc Stretch for range, and also when you proc electricity, you get energy regeneration. My Jade doesn't have electricity, but my cat does. So when my cat hits an enemy, procs electricity, I also get energy regeneration, which is quite nice synergy. If you don't have that type of system, or your Sentinel doesn't have electricity, just remove this for regular stretch. Prime Flow for energy economy, and Argon Reach for ability range. So these are the mods. For the Arcanes, Arcane Velocity, on critical hit, you get plus, there's a 9% chance for you to get a plus 120% fire rate for pistols. Her Exalted Weapon is a pistol, so this will make her fourth ability shoot much faster. And Mold Augmented, on kill, you get 0.24 ability strength, stacks up all the way up to 250, so after 250 kills, you have a permanent 60 ability strength, which is quite nice. So those are the Arcanes. For the stats here, duration, believe me, it's not that big of a deal. Efficiency is capped, which makes all of our abilities use no energy at all. Range is more than enough, and strength is more than enough. So those are the stats. For the abilities, you're going to constantly toss this to trigger the Arc Intensify. You're going to toss this, proc the passive, and then you're going to do the alt fire with your fourth ability to clear. And when there's a one tanky enemy, you're just going to hold left click to DPS. Second ability, I always keep the second ability on the shield to give myself a massive shield recharge, and also have all the time purple shield, so for massive ability. But of course you can swap this for damage increased for your alt, and your regular shots do more damage. Third ability doesn't have a lot of duration, but you're going to press this against like really tanky enemies like Acolytes or some other tanky enemy that is kind of annoying to you. So you're not going to use this most of the time. You only use it against really annoying enemies. And of course your fourth ability, you're going to be forever on your fourth ability. This also gives you 50% damage reduction. You constantly DPS with your left click, and if there are a bunch of enemies next to each other, toss your first ability, press the alt fire, and they'll disappear. So that's pretty much it. Those are the abilities, the stats, the mods, the arcane. And I think it's time for me to show you her Exalted Weapon. Jade's Exalted Weapon, called Glory. So let's start with the mods. The mods I'm using on my Glory, I'm using Prime Target Cracker for critical damage, Magnetic Might for critical damage, also magnetic damage, Pathogen Rounds for Toxin, Deep Freeze for cold, Deep Freeze and Toxin gives you viral, Prime Heated Charge for heat, Lethal Torrent for fire-active multi-shot, Galeness Diffusion for multi-shot, and Hornet Strike for increased damage. So these are the mods. For the Arcane, yes, she can finally use Arcanes, and Secondary Enervate is the best one. She generates so much crit, and you're going to see orange and red crits. It's a must-have. It's just so good. It's just so good. I did test it with the Cascadia Flare. Believe me, it's weaker in terms of damage. She lacks critical chance, and this fixes critical chance problem entirely. You technically can utilize secondary outburst, but it's annoying how secondary outburst works. You can have to constantly like turn off your 4, swap, turn back your 4. You're just overcomplicating your gameplay. Don't do that. And secondary fortify also works if you somehow are dying, but believe me, you're very tanky with Jade, so you really don't need it. Enervate is the best one, I will say. For the stats here, the fire rate is slow, but you have so many layers of fire rate, arcane velocity, and a stat stick to give her a ton of fire rate, plus fire rate from this. You're going to be absolutely fine. Critical chance is not good, but with Enervate, it's like phenomenal. Crit multi is good, stat chance is fine, and she does pretty good amount of damage. So those are the stats, the mods, the arcane, and I think it's time for me to show you the shards and the loadout. So be right back. For the shards I will highly recommend for you to go is 1, cast speed shard. This will make all of her abilities much faster when it comes to casting. And for the other shards, all red plus 15% ability strength. That's 60 ability strength, and that complements all of her abilities. Her 1, her 2, her 3, and her 4. It's a must-have. Those are the shards. Time for me to show you the loadout. The loadout, I'm going to bring Jade, of course, Cat, and Furax Wraith. And you're like, why this? You're going to melee? No. I'm going to only have this in my inventory because of Amalgam Furax body count. What this does, it gives plus 45% fire rate for secondary weapons. This does work on Jade's fourth ability. It's a must-have. You just have to equip this. You don't even need the stats. You just have to put this mod in here, and that's it. That's it. You have more fire rate for your glory. And that's it. That's the only thing I'm going to bring. I don't need primaries or secondaries. I'm going to be forever on my fourth ability, and that's it. So, let's immediately start. And I am in. I'm up against these Cauldron troops. This is a Steel Path mission at Warframe's 1999 update. Steel Path, of course. And this is a floating pregnant woman destroying these enemies. Like really fast. I'm going to be forever on my fourth ability. There's a tanky enemy. Nope, he's gone. Those guys are really tanky, and she like DPSs them really fast. These guys are also really tanky. Look how fast she kills these guys. Like, so nice. I'll fire. Maybe I need to find one of those infested caves to show you the ult. This map is kinda... There we go. I mean, they're... okay. They're disappearing. I need to find a small room where a bunch of them can spawn so I can just ult fire constantly. Not here. Forever. Floating. Pregnant woman. It's just so nice with Enervate. It's just so nice. There it is. Ult fire. I saw 1 million over there. Oh man. It's like so good. Single target on her is amazing now with Enervate. Oh, this place is perfect. Oh, yep, there it is. If you want to camp with Jade, constantly toss your 1. You kill enemies, you lose health, you gain health by pressing your 1, and you trigger the Arcane Intensify, so you have it forever. Oh, so amazing. Enervate finally. I was so excited when I heard that they're going to give Jade this. I was worried it didn't work, because there's some interactions that AoE doesn't work with some stuff, you know? But it works, and it's just so good. Look at these guys. These guys are really tanky, and Jade just annihilates them. Jade kills those guys quicker than most Exalted users. so good. So as you can see, you don't need a lot of duration at all. You can sustain your second ability just by proccing your passive and killing them. It prolongs the duration of your second ability. Your first ability you're going to always recast, so there's no point of duration there as well. Her fourth ability doesn't need duration at all, and it's just her third ability, but you don't really need to use it most of the time. You're going to use it like against Acolytes and some other tanky enemies, which is more than enough for you to like press it. In those 20 seconds you kill those enemies and then you just go back and do all this other stuff. Oh, I'm stuck. I think this is the Acolyte. I hope it isn't the one that turns off your abilities. If that's the one, that isn't good. Look at the Acolyte. Gone. So if there are not a lot of enemies, you're going to press, of course, your left click. If there are a bunch of enemies around, you're going to press your 1, press your alt fire, which is the middle mouse, and gone. That's Jade. She's amazing now. Enervate kinda made her so much better. See, she was definitely slightly weakish without it. Now she's very good. Let me just extract and give me just a second. Jade is amazing now. Enervate definitely made her left click and alt fire on her 4 much better. It does some ridiculous damage. It was slightly weakish, like I said, but now it's like pretty good. It's pretty good. She's good now. All of her abilities, when you press them, they do something. There's a purpose to press them. They all good. She's a perfect Warframe now, I will say. I will highly recommend the build. I will highly recommend the Warframe, the setup, the mods, the build. And yet again, thank you everybody for watching. Leave a like, sub, and see you all next time. Thank you. Goodbye.